come on. What do you mean? Yeah, I know it's upcoming. Well, just, okay. It's almost time for your appointment, Matteo. Okay. I need to take him, Matteo. Come here, buddy. No, I'm gonna fall. Oy. Oh, join appointment. Stay here, mister. Clean. Stinky, but clean. Okay, Mr. Impatient, you stay right there then. It's almost our turn. Ah, there we go. That would be me again.
No worries, like you got a lot of things to take care of. So.
Yeah, it never fails.
Yeah, so little Matteo, it sounds like we got a couple things going on. We've definitely had some weird poops and bloating, but then also more recently kind of a scuffle with our cage mate.
Yeah. He's still full of life, though.
Yeah, okay, so still pretty active and bright.
Extremely active, but not eating as much as he normally should be.
Okay, so we definitely got a decreased appetite.
Yeah, and decreased water intake.
Okay, and has that been just a few days, or has that been going on for longer than that?
It started let's see, hang on. He put him down in the little bed here. I'm trying to think. The lack of drinking started when his previous cage mate passed away, and that's a month tomorrow.
Okay, so about maybe a month or so.
About that. And then I got 2 new guinea pigs. One to be, bar buddies with him, and the other one's in a different cage down below. And then his water intake increased. He was eating again. Everything was normal. And then I tried to do an introduction session 2 weeks later with the one that's down below. That didn't work out. The other one, that one's too aggressive. So I let it go a couple of days to, kind of settle in again. And then I tried introducing him to the other guinea pig.
Yep.
They'll eat together fine, no problem, but they cannot seem to get along.
Okay.
He's the instigator that plucked out fur from the other one at least 3 different occasions.
Okay, so he's kind of more of the aggressor in the situation there.
Yeah. So I separated them again with, holy, stop. I separated them with like a divider in the middle.
Yeah.
But now he's back to not eating again.
Okay. And do you usually find that was his last cage mate also a male? Because sometimes there's obviously male to male issues. But
Yeah, it's always been a male that's been with him.
Okay. We just maybe haven't found the right one per se.
At this point, unfortunately, no. not neutered. Still
Yeah,
has
he went
his.
those-
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so obviously we don't want to put him with an intact female, maybe one that was spayed, but not.
And unfortunately, all of my females upstairs are all seniors and not a good candidate for spaying.
Okay. And there may be like more going on too, like maybe he's not integrating well if something has been kind of brewing and bothering him, because we're seeing physical signs too in terms of the abnormal growths. He seemed a little bit bloated. You know, what might be going on there for him?
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely assume that there was a bloat going on because he had that like mushy poop, almost diarrhea. And then I fed him critical care. I gave him some baby gas drops, and then I was kind of like burping his belly, and then he let out this big loud fart with some wet, moist poop.
Yeah.
And then he seemed to be okay again. And then I tried to reintroduce him to the one guinea pig, thinking, okay, they can like, it's like they want to live together, but again, Matteo's the aggressor in this case. So I had to separate them because I can't risk going to bed at night and then, having a worse injury,
Of course, yeah. No, it's a tricky balance, right? Introducing them to each other and sort of saying, okay, I want you to interact, but I also don't want you to like fight and in the middle of the night hurt each other. So
exactly.
Not what we want. I'm just gonna grab my shirt. Put that in. Here's talking flow. So how have his poops been since that was a couple days ago that you uploaded that picture there?
I'll grab some poops from the cage and show you.
Okay.
You're not going back inside there yet. Hang on, Matteo. Okay. You stay there. So I don't. Hang on. Trying to.
Those look fairly good to me. I mean, one's a little bit larger than the others, but
like some of them are like broken in half.
Okay. They look pretty solid. They don't look soft to me. Like
I think this is the most normal one that I've seen.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So better than what we had before. Those poops that we had pictures of were kind of mushy and soft and just not quite right. And obviously we had some really soft stuff on the paper towel there. So
yeah. The one on the paper towel was that day that I was able to like get that fart out of him.
Yeah, for sure. And has his appetite kind of like where's it at right now? Is it low? Is it kind of bounced back?
I'd say it's low. Okay. Because when I had him in the same cage space as the other guinea pig, he started eating the hay again. He was eating the pellets, drinking more water. And then since I had to separate them, he's gone back to not eating as much.
Okay. So there's probably, like, it definitely sounds like there's a bit of a stress factor going on there. And it's tricky because obviously we don't want to cause injury, but he does seem like he's rather stressed out in terms of, I don't like being separated from the others and want to have that social contact.
Yeah.
Because it does seem like his symptoms are, there's suspicions of GI stasis or bloat, or however you want to phrase that in terms of, okay, things are kind of slowing down, I'm painful, I'm building up some gas, and you did all the right things in terms of giving him like critical care, gas drops aren't going to hurt. I'd like to make sure you've got some pain meds on board just so you have that at home. Like if you have any loxapam, so that would be probably, do you have any loxapam at home? Or
unfortunately, I've run out.
Okay, because that's something I could definitely read for you, because I think it's a good thing to have on hand, especially with guinea pigs and rabbits. It's nice pinch to be able to dose for, okay, if you're painful, I want to address that, but
now what about having like gut motility meds on hand?
It's a good question. There's lots of actual pushback on that from specialists that they don't really work for the kind of issues that rabbits and guinea pigs have. Like it's easy to go to them to kind of get the gut moving, but it's not really like things like metoclopramide to sort of stimulate gut movement.
Okay.
More research is kind of telling us it doesn't really seem to improve outcomes. It doesn't really seem to help all that much. Not that it's going to hurt worked per se, but it's not. I think it's maybe a little bit of a placebo effect of like we think it did something, but when we look at the biomechanics,
It's almost like mind over matter.
Yeah, and
Okay.
gas drops are kind of like that to an extent too. It's like, does it really help or does it not? So I don't tend to favor using gastromotility agents. I do really favor like hydration, so being able to get nutritional support into them, sub-Q fluids. You've got fluids set up at home, pain control, and really just getting that like fiber in.
Okay.
In his case, I'm a little bit worried that there's a stress trigger there in terms of, okay, how can I decrease that for him? Like in terms of, you're obviously upset, buddy, when you're separated from your friend, but then you're also mean to your friend. So if that's...
It's the catch-22 with him.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, he is probably going through some grieving still. It's been fairly recent since his previous cage mate that he got along with has passed.
Yeah.
So it may be that like with time he'll be more ready, but he's not quite there right now. Like he's not quite at the point. You don't have any other animals besides guinea pigs, do you? I know it sounds weird.
No, just the guinea pigs.
Okay. Because I have seen sometimes interspecies friendships, like a rabbit and a guinea pig. So just kind of thinking outside the box in terms of like, okay, you really want somebody, you want your social contact with somebody, but in a way that might be a little bit, obviously he doesn't really seem to get along with this particular guinea pig that we're trying to introduce. That doesn't seem to be going super well overall.
Yeah.
Buddy, how are we going to get over this?
I wish I knew. Yeah, because his previous cage mate that he got along with had lost like over 100 grams in a short time frame, and I had brought him to the in-person vet. Unfortunately, by the time we got there, he was like gasping for air, so they had to put him on oxygen. And then when they tried to check his molars, he ended up aspirating and passed away.
Right.
So
very quick.
Yeah. So this time it's kind of like, okay, we're getting bad weather outside. I'm not going to risk stressing him and then have him pass away.
No, for sure.
So,
I don't think we're at like that point. Like I think in some ways it seems like the symptoms are related to the stress, and we have to kind of figure out how to decrease that for him while also addressing the symptoms of, okay, let's get the bloat under control and kind of get you comfortable. But it does seem interesting to me that every time he's separated, that seems to be when we're having that trigger there. So continuing to work on introductions. Like I think it is good to try and plan to integrate them because he seems happier and eating better and more consistently acting normal when he is in social contact. Just maybe not overnight because we don't want to have that sort of risk and injury. So maybe like having them play during the day when you can supervise them more so, and then kind of separate them at night.
Yeah, because I don't know. Like I've heard other people tell me that you shouldn't put them together, like take them away, put them together, take them away, because apparently it adds more stress. So I really don't know, because I mean, most of the guinea pigs I have are females, so I'm more like expertise in the females. These boys are giving me a run for my money.
Yeah, for sure, and it is tricky. You're right. There is some stress impact of kind of separating them. I like what you have currently in terms of like that they have just like a barrier between them, like they can still kind of sniff and interact with each other, but it's not like they're not able to like, physically hit each other. So I think that helps lessen that to an extent.
Unfortunately, he's not happy with that.
Yeah, you're not happy with that, sir. And it could be too, I mean, is the other male, I'm assuming he's intact as well? Like he's also...
Yeah, they're all my males are intact.
Okay. Because we could think about that. I mean, obviously he's been intact for a bit and got along fine previously, but sometimes that hormonal sex drive does have a factor there in behavior, and maybe neutering one versus the other. I'd probably focus on neutering him as the aggressor agent to see if that maybe allows a little bit easier integration for him, because it could be that he's like, I want to be friends, but then my boy hormones are telling me that I also should be a jerk to you and like run you off and have disagreements. So that might be some, obviously that's not something I can do for you. That would be an in-person option, but
yeah, I've already priced out some vets on getting quotes because that was an option if I couldn't find him new friends, but that doesn't seem to be working in my favor, Matteo.
No. Yeah, because I don't really, I'm trying to think of like anxiety options for guinea pigs. Like there's definitely pheromone products and things we use in cats and dogs, but not as much in guinea pigs. We could try, I could try some gabapentin with them. There's studies to show it helps in rabbits to reduce stress when they're in clinic, so I can extrapolate that it might have similar effect with guinea pigs, so maybe that helps relax him a little bit, and it does do a little bit of pain control too, so it's not a bad option just to maybe try with him.
At this point, I'm willing to try almost anything.
Yeah, I think it's worth kind of like, let's give it a go if it's not going to cause harm. In terms of his poops, like you said, you mixed in like the probiotic with the vet back in with the critical care, and that's
because where is it? This is what I was able to get on Amazon.
Yeah.
So it's just like a powder. So I've been like, I put in like half of the little scoop that came in, and I mixed it with the critical care.
Yeah, and it's another thing that probably is a good thought. It's lacking evidence just because nobody's really designed probiotics specifically for herbivores and for guinea pigs, so it's not got a lot of like support behind it. My question with the product would be, it's got cats, dogs, raccoons, and then rabbits on it. Well, those are very different. Like, three of those are carnivore, omnivore species, and one is an obligate herbivore. So it's kind of like, is it really going to necessarily be the same gut profile? But probiotics aren't a bad option for gut support and helping with gut stasis. Like, especially, we don't try to use antibiotics often in these guys because obviously their gut flora is hugely important to them in terms of fermentation and all of that. Sometimes I've heard people using like guinea pig poop, like they take poop from a healthy guinea pig and mix it in with the food to sort of give that normal boost of guinea pig.
I tried doing that, but I can't seem to get to their healthy poop before they eat it.
Right. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, even like just the little pellets that they have, I wonder, I don't really think that he's probably got dysbiosis. I think I've got some stress triggers. It's leading to some pain. That pain is leading to secondary, okay, I'm not eating, my gut's unhappy when I do that. So it's like, okay, let's address the pain and have an option to treat that. And let's also long-term try to figure out reducing the stress, maybe through medication, a little bit also through figure out how to make these guys happier. Maybe they need a bigger space for them to interact in. Like, do you think that it's too kind of small for them? They're feeling a little territorial in the space that they currently have?
I'm thinking, okay, hang on. Let me unplug the phone a second so I can move it with me, and I'll put him down. So this is the cage space I have for them. It amounts to like 15 square feet. I kind of messed up when I was cutting the chloroplast. But with the divider, they get basically like exactly 7.5 square feet, which to me is still too small. I look at it and I'm like, it's too small. I don't like it, but that's a me thing, right?
Yeah.
But when they don't have the divider, they have all this space. I tried having it where they only had hay everywhere and just their food and water sources, because they have like the fleece floor so they can kind of hide under there.
Right.
And then they weren't, okay, so he was happy with it, Matteo was happy with it. The other one wasn't happy because he would try and burrow under the fleece.
Right.
And then I tried giving them the tunnels, just like the two-way entry, and then that's when that tornado occurred.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, I definitely feel like the cage could be bigger a little bit, but I mean, I only have so much space to work with. Like,
yeah.
I can expand it like maybe that much more, really.
Yeah.
So.
Like, bigger is better, but you reach a point where you physically, like, can't necessarily make it bigger.
Yeah. Because I know it's also based on personality. At least that's what I've observed with them.
Yeah, for sure. And it may not be, like, it may ultimately just not be the right fit between these two. Like, maybe it just isn't going to work. I do think Matteo needs, like, a companion and somebody to make him happy, because he seems to be missing that.
Yeah.
But it may not really be it, but keeping in mind that, maybe it's just not going to be the right fit overall for these guys.
Yeah. So pretty much at this point, like, considering neutering would be my only option because I can't keep taking in more and more guinea pigs in the hopes of finding the right match.
No, of course, right? Yeah, I think it comes down to, okay, is he happy enough on his own that we can live with, okay, he's not going to be social. Clearly that sounds like maybe not. His appetite decreases and he's unhappy. So does neutering help? Does rehoming him to a situation where he likes the pig that he's rehomed to? Like, there's lots of plays there, but yeah, we're kind of trying to figure out how to make this work.
Because I don't want to have to rehome him, but if I know that he can be happier and find the perfect match, then that would be something I would want to consider, just for his sake.
Right.
But I need to make sure that he's healthy for it. I'm not going to rehome a sick pig to someone.
No, of course, yeah, and I don't think we're at that stage yet, too. Like, I don't think that that's my immediate option. I think that we can try some things. I'm going to send you the resource for, there's a technician I like working with who she does a lot of husbandry consults, in detail, so she may be able to help us figure out a little bit of, can we modify their space, and we'll figure things out in terms of, are there ways to make them feel a little bit happier with each other in terms of environment, so, we'll try and tag team on that and see if we can help with things.
Okay.
But I will definitely I'll get some meloxicam on board for you, or at least put a script together for that, because I think that's a good option to have on hand, especially if he's having an acute flare-up, like when he was really painful. Giving him a dose of that is going to help in terms of making him feel comfortable. And I'll look into some dosing for gabapentin, and we can try that as maybe an anxiety medication, see if that helps maybe with some of their integration, if maybe he just needs to chill out a little bit, and see if that maybe helps him.
Okay.
It sounds like there weren't any big injuries to either of them.
I tried giving him a little stuffed animal.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
It helped a little bit because he left a little present on it last night.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
Yeah, so that stuffed guinea pig went for a bath.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, the other two guinea pigs are fine. I looked over the one that had the hair pulled out, and I couldn't tell if they were actually bite marks or if it was just a little bit of blood drawn because of the force of the fur coming out.
Right.
But I cleaned it up and I put a tiny dab of polysporin over it.
Okay.
And he seems to be doing fine. He's eating, he's drinking, he's pooping normal.
Okay. Well, let's just keep an eye on him then and just make sure that if there are wounds, that they don't kind of get bigger. But it sounds like, for the most part, a lot of talk, a lot of fluff, but not a lot of actual trauma and damage there. I know we want to kind of minimize, the stress of going to the vet and back and forth and stuff. It could be worthwhile to maybe get some blood work and stuff done, though, on Matteo, just or even, a better oral exam. They usually have to be sedated to get a really nice look, just to make sure there's not another cause of, is he reacting because he's painful or he's feeling sick or there's something else going on that's kind of triggering that too. So that's something for you to consider in terms of just a nice baseline. There's nothing else wrong with you health wise. We're mostly just dealing with situational stress as opposed to, he's got a huge sore tooth or something internal that could be a factor for us too.
Yeah. Because he was eating and doing everything normal before his previous cage mate passed away. But anything can happen between now and then, and because they're prey animals, they hide things. So
yeah. it's always kind of it's always on my mind of is there something else going on? Is it, as you say, they're prey species. They don't like to tell us that something's wrong. So
yeah. Well, it's kind of why when I noticed that big gap of weight loss, I'm like, okay, we're not playing games this time. I need to talk to the professional.
For sure, and it's great that you're monitoring his weight. He's still at a healthy weight, and he looks like a good body condition. He doesn't look significantly underweight at all, but it is good for us to trend that and say, okay, is that going down and down and down, or are we mostly kind of staying at that 1.1-ish kilos mark?
Yeah. Because I have his weight record here. Yeah, because at one point he was like 1,110 grams, and he went up to 1,145. Then it jumped down to 1,089, then 1,055, and today was 1,042. So I mean, it's not like a giant amount in a short time, but still over the span of a short time-ish kind of thing.
Yeah, but still it's a little bit. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, let's try and focus on what we can do in terms of, although he seems to be eating better, like he sounded like he was eating a little bit better when he was in contact there, but maybe if we give him some pain meds, that'll boost up his appetite in general, and maybe we are a little bit painful and our appetite's decreased, and then when he's put in with the other guinea pig, makes him happy, so maybe he eats more, but maybe it's also a fear response of like, oh my god, there's this other male here, I have to act normal, and like
it could be, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be, I think let's try a couple of things and see how that does, and obviously you're pretty attentive at kind of keeping track of things, so I think we can trend things really well over time.
Yeah.
But we'll try a couple of things and just see if we can get them feeling more consistently normal, eating, stable weight, not losing weight, happy, and seeming good.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so I will get those prescriptions ready, and I'll get the notes summarized, and then obviously you know how this works in terms of you can chat back and forth with me if there's any sort of follow-ups. If anything changes or if we see any more weird poop or anything, we can kind of adjust the plan as needed if we need to.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, you have a good night. It's nice to chat with you again. It's always good to see you guys.
Likewise. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, well, that was that. Okay, so I had set up the computer on the live stream to kind of record the conversation with the online vet so that I can have my memory jogged as to what was going on. So there's one of two things that, okay, so she's going to prescribe me some Metacam to have pain medications on hand. She's also going to prescribe me gabapentin as a precautionary to try out to help relieve stress for him. And we need to figure out what's going on. She suggested that I could schedule an in-person appointment to get blood work done. To, just to make sure that there's nothing happening like in his body that like isn't, being shown because, prey animals or whatever. And then she also said that the two last resort options is to possibly get him neutered so that I can put him in with the girls, or at least get him a friend more easily. Or the last resort would be to rehome him. But obviously I need to, rule out any possible illness because I'm not going to even consider rehoming a sick guinea pig, So yeah, she's going to prescribe Metacam and gabapentin. And she knows that I have the Benebac or whatever, but as she said, at least for out here in Canada, on record, there is no scientific evidence that Benebac works, which is why Canadian doctors don't usually prescribe Benebac or anything like that. But she knows and she's aware that I'm using it. Like, she's been the online vet for the last 3 or 4 guinea pigs that I've had. So I guess you could say I've established a little bit of a rep with her. I can't even talk. I got the pasties. Blech. But it is very evident so far that Matteo is a very social pig and prefers the company of an actual guinea pig in his space. So I'm kind of limited on options, but we're going to try and see if giving him some pain meds will relieve any kind of pain. Obviously, there was indication of bloat that day. He had that mushy poop with diarrhea or whatever, and I was able to get that loud fart out of him. So, in a sense, I kind of helped save his life that day. There's definitely like GI issues potentially happening, but it's also possibly caused by stress factors of, grieving Mateo's loss, but then having new friends and then trying to, do everything in a short time frame. So it could be stress factor that's causing all this. As she witnessed with him, he's full of life. Like he's still got that spark in his eye. He doesn't look like a sick guinea pig the way, let's say, Miguel did. So we're not even looking at the option of like the rehoming thing. That's like a very last resort. And as she said, I can message back and forth. I still have unlimited texting with vet text if needed. And for the next couple of days, if I have any questions or comments, concerns, whatever, I can email her through Vetster. So there's that. And that is that update. Hello, peoples. I don't need to repeat that story because you just heard the whole thing. Oh, laundry should be done soon. Okay. Excuse me. I don't know who's all watching because nobody's really talking other than Braun. Sorry, I was not ignoring you. I just couldn't really respond because, as you heard, I was on the video chat with the online vet. Ooh. Oh, that. Oh, so dust. 2.2 pine tech bed. Yeah, bedding. A lot of fine stuff. I'm definitely going to be removing you guys from the cage while I put that in. But we're not doing that right now. I think we're going to do that tomorrow. Probably leave you in the fleece because you're fine. But I definitely think we're going to do that. Yeah, okay. It was interesting to hear her perspective. how she thinks I should put him with Bowser for short little play dates. I always thought that caused more stress. Okay, so theoretically, if I was to order those 2 canvas liners at $20 a piece, I would have to use my 14-inch grids, but I can expand the cage by a tiny amount. I wouldn't even know how to calculate that. Why canvas liners? I mean, I like them, but I hate them. I like the core cost because it's more sturdy, but I hate the fact that I miscalculated that when cutting it. Medicam's not supposed to be a long-term medication anyway. So, probably 1 or 2 doses for him, and hopefully that'll help. Tomorrow's Monday, so I'll have the meds by Thursday. It's probably going to cost me a fortune. I'll have to put it on a credit card. Wait, what?
Grand Prix.
What? But he didn't. What? Okay, well, what? Okay, nobody's really talking. That's fine. All right. I'm gonna end the live because I need to use my computer.